Summer season is here, and you might be asking yourself, what should I watch? Well, no worries. I've already broken down the top 10 animes that you should be watching for the season of 2023. What to expect? To put you in perspective, this list will be a combination of things that I've enjoyed and things that I will continue watching as the season goes on. To start at the number 10 spot is going to be Ayaka. Ayaka is an anime from Studio Blanc, and it follows our protagonist going through a traumatic event at a young age and then brought into foster homes to live until high school. At his high school graduation, our protagonist is then brought back to his home island to learn about his family heritage and learn who his father is. With that being said, our protagonist learns that they are born into this family that has very high chi levels, or as they call it, lay masters, as his father is a great lay master, and that people have great expectation of him. Our main character, not necessarily knowing where he fits in, is troubled by all this, and we really just get to experience him finding out who he is, how to master his powers, and get to uncover a few of the mysteries that this island does hold. Overall, I do find that it is a great anime. The animation itself is good. It's not Demon Slayer level, but I did find the fight scenes still very enjoyable. Great sense of humor, but overall, it didn't really bring me to the edge of my seat, but I did find it a great watch. Therefore, I give Ayaka a 5.5 out of 10 on my will I continue, did I like it list. Next on our list, at the number 9 spot is The Dreaming Boy is a Realist, produced by Studio Gokumi and Axis. Sorry if I pronounced this wrong. This anime is about a protagonist realizing that he can't keep chasing the same girl over and over again. Within the first 3 episodes, we see that our protagonist is just over it. He doesn't want to keep chasing her, and that creates a different dynamic for the anime. It is a little bit of a different feel because it's not our regular romance where our protagonist is just constantly chasing after this girl until she finally says yes, or it's a will they won't they type of thing. But this one is more of a, I realize that I can't have you, therefore I'm just going to move on and support you in different ways. I did think that was a little bit more of a different touch than other ones, and that's why I did enjoy it, and I put it at the number 9 spot because I do want to know how is it going to end. This one I give another 5.5 out of 10 due to the fact that the story didn't really hook me, but I am still interested in learning what's going to happen next. Next on our list, number 8. At the number 8 spot, we have Reign of the Seven Spellblades. That is an anime that is produced by JC Staff, the same studio that made One Punch Man, Toradora, Food Wars, so on and so on. This anime is about a group of students that enrolls into a school that's very similar to Hogwarts, but it has a mixture of swordsmanship with mages. It is overall a mage school, but they do learn how to fight with swords. The school itself seems to be a little bit dangerous, as during the first episode we are told that a very low percentage of the students make it out of there alive. We haven't gotten to see any student deaths yet, but it definitely has a lot of potential with the growing of the seasons. If it's anything like the Harry Potter franchise, where as we watch, we see them grow older and older, we see them go through different challenges, I feel like we are going to get the chance to see the dark aspect of that school, which is why I gave it a nice number 8 spot. The anime itself didn't really, again, have me on the edge of my seat, but at times I was very interested, certainly during the swordsman fights. That to me was very, I personally like swordsmen, so that to me had me feeling some type of way, had my heart racing a little bit, just trying to understand how is it going to go down. Overall, I gave this anime a 6 out of 10. Definitely should be put onto your top 10 watch list for the season. Next up, on my number 7 spot is My Tiny Senpai. My Tiny Senpai is an anime that is produced by Project Number 9, and it is an anime about a romance at a workplace. Therefore, we have our main protagonist just falling in love with his senpai, and it turns out into a will they won't they kind of relationship because they have to respect the workplace. Now, their feelings for one another doesn't necessarily seem to be spoken, but it is shown through actions and small little moments in their relationship. I did find the anime very wholesome. I did think that it was cute. The jokes were really hitting. I did find myself laughing at moments. So therefore, I gave it a rating of 6.5 out of 10 at a solid number 7. Next on our list is number 6. At the number 6 spot, we have The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. This is by Studio Gohans, the same studio that made the anime series K. Overall, I thought that this anime was great. It had great animation, the unique camera angles, and they had a very dynamic voice acting. So the story is all about this person that falls in love with the girl right next door. And by next door, I mean the girl that sits right next to him in class. The only issue is that that character keeps on forgetting her glasses and is always embarrassed, needs help, but doesn't necessarily ask for it. Obviously, with time, their relationship kind of gets closer and closer as she now starts depending on him for her regular day-to-day actions. All the time that she doesn't have her glasses, he's always right by her side, ready to help. Simp energy. Overall, it is a fantastic anime. I thought that it was funny. The animation is just amazing. I did not expect such great animation, but really blew my mind. I feel like what they did with the camera angles is very different. The story itself was cute. It just very generic, but I feel like it still has a lot more growth potential. So that's why I put it a little bit higher on my list, because I can't wait to see what's about to happen. Certainly with the way that their relationship will evolve, because I don't necessarily see it as a will they won't they, because both of them are a little bit more obvious when it comes to how they feel towards one another. Certainly with her realizing how much she likes to depend on him and stuff like that. So it's cute, it's wholesome, it's definitely a mood booster, I would call it, because if you're ever feeling a little bit lousy on a day and you want to watch something that's good and has great humor, definitely the Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. It is a fantastic one. That is the reason why I gave it a 6.8 out of 10, and I put it as the number 6 on my list. Now, here comes the number 5. Before I get into this, don't come for me for what I'm about to say. But anyways, the number 5 spot on my list is Reubeni Kenshin. Reubeni Kenshin is by Studio Linen Films, the same one that made Tokyo Revenger, Call of Night, and you heard it here first, Goblin Slayer Season 2. Now, this anime is very much, I'll explain it the most simple way, it's a Ronin redemption arc. So if somebody's like into samurais and into sword fights, it's the anime for you. It definitely has a good amount of comedy and romance to it. Overall, the reason why I put it as a number 5, it is because it is a re-anime adaptation of the original ones that we had. Therefore, I've already watched it and I feel less obligated to continue watching it because of the fact that I've already seen the original one. But I still put it in my top 5 for this season because it is still a great story and the anime revamp are fantastic. Like, the animation revamp is fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just I've already seen the story, and as the story goes, it hasn't really changed much from the original, but overall it is definitely a must watch for most people. Therefore, it belongs on the number 5 spot with a rating of 7.0 out of 10. Next up on our list, at the number 4 spot, is Gene of AI. Gene of AI is made by Studio Madhouse, and if you're unfamiliar with that studio, they've made animes such as Hunter x Hunter, Death Note, Black Lagoon, Hellsing Ultimate. Therefore, my expectation for this anime was very high, and I'm happy that it did meet my expectations. So, Gene of AI is an anime about obviously AIs. It is about how did AI evolve in the world as we know it. We have now humans and what we call, or they call, humanoids. These humanoids look exactly like humans, act like humans. The only thing is that their eyes are going to be slightly different. So when I say that the eyes are very important in this anime, get used to distinguishing who they're talking to based on their eyes, because you will not know who's an AI or who's a humanoid and who's a human just by like reading the subtitles, unless you're like, for some reason you just know and you have like an instinct. No, you really are going to have to pay attention to the animation details. So animation in this one is super important. But overall, the story really follows our protagonist, who's an AI doctor and that runs a clinic. Every episode is going to be a different story based off of their clients. But at the same time, we're also trying to unravel a mystery that is all about the main character, about what happened in his past. I do find that interesting. I do see that it has a lot of dark undertones. The laws in this anime world seem very strict and the consequences very extreme. So I'm very excited to see like how it's gonna pan out because it was labeled as a dark thriller. The first few episodes definitely had me on the edge of my seat. I was super focused. There's a lot of like big words and stuff like that. So if you are looking for something that like is a little bit simpler, might not be for you, but if you like the scientifical mind of things, this anime I definitely suggest it because of all of the knowledge and all of the experiments that you get to see and everything that you get to learn from it. Definitely a great anime, which is why I gave it a 7 out of 10 and slapped it at my number 4 spot. Now that we're entering the top 3, aka the big 3 of this season, I'm joking. I know people don't like other animes being called the big 3. Don't worry. But jumping into the top 3 of this season, we start with the number 3 spot. The Masterful Cat is depressed again today. This anime is just fantastic. Overall, it honestly almost took my number 1 spot, but we'll keep that for later. This anime is all about like an owner living with a pet, but not just any pet. This cat is amazing. Phenomenal cat. It does all the chores. It cooks. It cleans. It packs lunches. It has its own sense of humor. If you're somebody who's like me who has pets, you will find times where you're going to be wondering or asking yourself if this is how your cat thinks about you, because sometimes this cat could be very ruthless with what it says, and I just find it amazing. The next part is just the fact that it is following another working adult. So if you are somebody who doesn't want to go to work at sometimes, or just is burnt out after work, or doesn't have time to do all of your chores after work, you will also relate to the main character as she's super funny. She is a little bit on the simpler side, so not much like complexity to it, which makes it more relatable to everybody else. Overall, I loved it. It was hilarious. At times I could not hold back my laughter. I was watching this at like 1:30 in the morning and I was trying to be quiet and I couldn't because it was so funny. Definitely suggest people to watch it if you're looking for a simple comedy, like a huge mood booster, like after work and you're just burnt or you had a bad day at work. Go watch this anime. It is fantastic. Because of that, I gave it a solid 8 out of 10. It was fantastic. Almost took my number 1 spot. But again, we saved that for something even better. Up next at number 2 is Zom 100. Made by Bug Films. Very interesting. Did a little bit of research about the studio. And to me, it seems like a new studio. So if you know about it, let me know. Just so I can look at more of their work. Because wow, was Zom 100 amazing. Zom 100 follows our protagonist, who's someone who started a new career at this corporate job in Japan and is super excited about starting his life as a professional. Little do we know that, it dies off really quick. He realizes that the work is super overloaded, gets no vacation time, just in a constant fight or flight mode where you have to fight to survive. It is, according to some of the research that I've done, it is meant to be a more realistic depiction of a day as a working adult in the corporate world of Japan, because from what I saw, people did say that they get burnt out very fast, they're overworked, the work ethic over there is both amazing and scary. Well, then this anime does a great way of demonstrating that. The twist of this anime is that at one point our character decides, you know what, I hate the job, I don't want to go, but I have to. Wakes up one morning, opens the TV and realizes a whole zombie apocalypse is going down. Your first reaction, and mine too, would probably be go in a little bit of a panic and realize what to do next. Nah, his first reaction was, I don't need to go to work anymore. And spends the whole first episode just like living life at the fullest. The first 3 episodes were super entertaining. They were funny. The jokes were there. We did get to see some of like the darker parts of the anime. I look forward to seeing how is he going to survive and who are the other survivors that are going to be there with him. And my biggest question is, what caused the zombie apocalypse? Overall, it is an amazing anime. This one just deserves another 8.2 out of 10. It was great. The animation's great. The colorful animation as well is fantastic. Just a big should watch for anybody coming into anime this season. To finish off our list, we have the number one spot. Now, this anime is made by Studio OLM, and if you're not familiar with them, they've done works like Kami Can't Communicate, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Summertime Rendering, and Pokemon. Yes, Pokemon. Like, I've done so much research on this studio that I had to stop because I was falling into a big rabbit hole about all of the Pokemon series that they work on. So I'm just going to say that they worked on like at least 98% of all of the Pokemon shows that we've known, even the movies, and they've all been fantastic. So coming from a studio like this, I was expecting a lot from Dark Gathering, and wow, did it offer. Dark Gathering is an anime about our protagonist who's a tutor who has been tasked to tutoring this young person at whatever they needed help with. Turns out that this person has powers and is able to see the world of the living and the world of the dead. Yes. So this whole series ends up going about them just going around performing exorcisms and just playing with the dark side of the world. It has such an interesting theme, and they have wild mysteries that still need to be unfolded, because when I say that when episode 1 ended, I almost dropped everything to go read the manga, but I didn't because I had 2 more episodes to watch. When episode 2 ended, I almost flipped my desk, and at episode 3, I'm still shook from episode 3. Till this, I'm losing my mind. It is such a good anime. They did such a great job leaving us on cliffhangers, and the content of this anime is just fantastic. The story is great, the storytelling amazing, the action really gets you on edge. If I'm watching this, don't text me, don't talk to me, I don't even need to eat, just give me some water, because wow, is it amazing. If you like something that's like more dark, edgy, that has a little bit more of a horror theme to it, this is the anime for you, and it is definitely the one for me, which is why it holds the number 1 spot on my list. Dark Gathering deserves an 8.8 out of 10 on this list. Here you have it. This is my top 10 animes that I do have for the season of 2023, and I hope you watch. I hope you've enjoyed. But before I let you go, here is the last segment that I have for you. The last segment is Would I Read? We've just uncovered a lot of different animes, but at the same time, I also would like to know if it's something that I would read. Some of them do have a lot of potential, but might be a slow burn. And as much as I love watching anime, I do also like reading. And sometimes I start reading based off of what's being animated, and that's how I discover some new mangas, because I can't read it all. But starting off with my Would I Read, my first one that I would put on my list is going to be the Reign of the Seven Spellblades. That is the number 1 on my list of like, will I read? The only reason being is because I want to see if we're going to see them grow older, and if we're going to see them, go from first year to second year, so on, and see if the anime gets any darker as time goes, because like I said, it may be a slow burn. And if it is, I don't really want to spend the whole first season just like, feeling it out. I just want to jump right into it. So the manga might be a better option for me. And if you're somebody like me, once again, then it might be a good option for you. The next one that I do have on my list of like, will I read? The Gene of AI. The Gene of AI has a lot of mysteries that I do want to unpack, and I'm super excited for it. That being said, the excitement is making me want to see if there is a source material, because again, not every anime has a manga, and I haven't done any research on it yet, but it is on my to-do list. So Gene of AI is definitely something that I'm going to want to go check and see if there's an anime, like a manga, I should say, source material for it, so that I can go back, read it, and hopefully end up giving a review about it. Continuing that will I read part, the next one that I have is Zom 100. Zom 100 is blowing up everywhere. Like I see it on Twitter, Reddit. It's just everywhere. The manga is supposedly darker because of the fact that we're not getting a cover up of bloods with like super colorful, splashy animations. It is a little bit more gory, and for that, I am interested in getting into it and seeing how far will it go and how different is the censorship between the manga and the anime. Last on my list will be Dark Gathering. Dark Gathering, like I've mentioned, again, I don't know if there's a manga for it, but it is a fantastic anime. Like the first 3 episodes, fantastic anime. And because of that, I just really want to get into it, and I want to get right into the source material if there is any. That being said, I want to know like the dark sides of all of our characters and just seeing where will that lead and how far will they go, because wow, oh wow, is there some messed up happening in there. And yeah, it's definitely a great watch, and I wonder if it's gonna be as great of a read if there is something to read. But anyways, that ends my will I read segment. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. This is Lando King Yami, and y'all have a great season.